Good morning, I'm Aziff Azuddin, you're watching Morning Headlines, and it's the 20th of August. Now, if there's anything to remember, is that on Friday, we all have to wear black, unite in silence, and fly the flag half-mast. And this is something which is carried on the Malay Mail. And if you can see the picture of this very grim-looking staff here walking into the building, this is exactly what we want to emulate on Friday, as at least that's what the government is telling us to do. And of course, you see it reflected across all of the different papers. We have the Star, Day of Mourning, MH17. We have New Straits Times, which of course says united in grief. Now, this is not yet happened, but this is what we expect to happen, that people are going to unite in the grief of MH17. And of course, the Sun being more factual here, coming home. 16 caskets of bodies are coming back home to Malaysia. But what's interesting to me, at least here, is we're having a day of mourning for MH17. But then again, what happens to the MH370 families and victims? I mean, what about them? Don't they too deserve a day of mourning? And I think that's something which the government should think about. Or maybe the fact is, because there's no conclusive data or conclusive evidence yet of anything regarding to MH370, NST, apart from MH17, we have another story, another tragedy, is the death of 3 migrant workers on the collapse of an MRT construction. But what's more interesting here, and the more wider story getting exposure, is the resignation of the CEO, Azhar Abdul Hamid. Now, he's stepped down, taking responsibility for the actions for what has happened at the MRT accident. Now, this is something which many of our leaders or many people in power do not do. I mean, they hold on to power despite the scandals, despite corruptions, despite allegations. But this is a man who has taken integrity, decided to step down, and I guess he deserves an applaud. The problem with spotlighting that sort of story is, of course, is that you overshadow the bigger issue behind all these accidents, is that our migrant workers are still dying in accidents, not only in construction, but also in other fields, malnutrition, mistreatment. And I think it's something we should look into, of course, is the safety and, of course, the well-being of our migrant workers. I mean, just because we don't see them doesn't mean they're not there. We move on to other stories, and we have the front page of Sinar Harian. Mahathir, of course, criticizing Najib, but that's a non-story by now. The bigger story here is that, talking about accountability, right? Khalid minta maaf. So Khalid Ibrahim has come out to apologize for all the mess that has happened in the Selangor state. Now, of course, in case we're worried about the water deal, Khalid assures that, of course, the water deal is still going to go through. To sound, of course, being antagonistic towards Pakatan as it always is, we have the headline here, Zudi tegur PAS. So Zudi, as you remember, the person who wrote the WhatsApp message saying that PAS should leave Pakatan and join UMNO. Now, he's come out to criticize PAS for aligning themselves with Anwar, of course. But I think the bigger picture behind all this is that PAS political survivability hinges on the Pakatan coalition. So whether they like it or not, they have to align themselves to Pakatan, despite DAP wanting a secular state. Our final story of the day, we have Berita Harian with a bit of fishy business. So where are our fishes going to? Now, brief facts. We catch about 1.4 million tons of fishes a year. Malaysia generally needs about 700,000 of them. We export 45,000 overseas. But what's interesting is that we import 400,000, and the surplus missing here of 700,000 over, right? Berita Harian's allegations is that our fishing industry is selling this to foreigners, and foreigners are selling back to us at an exorbitant price simply because we want to get energy subsidies. Now, you can find a more in-depth report in Berita Harian today, but it does bring a question that these small things which we think don't affect us will eventually come to bite us in the back. And it's only with them when it happens is when we say, why didn't we look at it before? And my word of the day today is accountability. Kudos to the CEO of MRT for stepping down, taking responsibility for the deaths of the migrant workers. Now, this is not the first case, of course. There were many other cases as well, though not widely reported, of course. And Khalid Ibrahim taking accountability, apologizing for the mess in Selangor. I mean, he's going to step down soon anyway. And to everyone else holding on to power out there, despite all the scandals, allegations, and corruptions thrown at their faces, what's your sense of responsibility? Are you being accountable to the people? And that's all I have for you for this morning's headlines. I'm Aziff Azuddin. Enjoy your Wednesday for BFM 89.9.